right, hands in your lap. Sit up tall and straight. Give me a big smile. All right, good deal. Well, good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to be learning about a very important topic. We are going to learn about talking. Give me a thumbs up if you love to talk to your friends and your family. Let me see those up. All right, hands down. I love talking to my friends and family too. You may like to talk on the playground or in the lunchroom or when you're at home with your family, all these different times where you get to talk. And I like to do that too. All right, now I want you to think to yourself. Don't shout anything out, just think. Did you know that it is very important to talk to others? Because when you talk to other people, you get to understand them better, understand why they think what they think, and you learn more things about them, and that's really important. So, when you get to turn and talk with your friends in class, which I know y'all get to do all the time, maybe during writing workshop time, you get to learn what they're thinking, and that may help you to learn more things. All right, so to help us today, I have what I like to call a chat chart. Now, chat is just another word for talk. So this chart is going to teach us all these important things to know about talking and how we can have strong conversations when we talk to our friends and our family. So each of these letters on the chat chart are going to help us remember things to help us have strong conversations with those people. So let's start with the C. The C stands for co-constructing meaning. Say that with me. Co-constructing meaning. Beautiful. Now that's a big word, but it's just a fancy way of saying that it takes more than one person, so at least two people, to have a conversation together to learn more about each other and to grow their brains. So when we talk with each other, we can either agree, or the opposite of agree is disagree. Awesome. So when we talk with people, we can either agree with them or we can disagree with them. Now, it's important though, when we talk to these people, that we don't just say, I agree, or I disagree. It's important that we explain, that we tell them why we agree or disagree. So think about if I was having a conversation with this friend right here, and I said, I love going down the slide at recess. And all she said back to me was, I agree. The conversation would just end, and I wouldn't know why she agrees with me, why she likes going down the slide. Or think about it a different way. If I were talking to this friend and I said, I enjoy going down the slide at recess, and all she said was, I disagree. My feelings would probably be hurt because she wouldn't have explained why she disagrees so that I could understand her better. So it's important that when we talk to our friends and we tell them we either agree with them or disagree with them, that we explain why, so that nobody's feelings are hurt and we understand each other better. Also, if we don't say why we agree or disagree, then our conversation will if we don't explain why we agree or disagree, then our conversation will just end. Like I gave with my example with my friend right here. If she just said, I disagree with you, our conversation would stop. We would just talk one time and be done. And that's not how a good, strong conversation is. In a strong conversation, both people talk multiple times, okay? So in our conversations today, when we're learning about chatting or talking, we want to have 3 rounds of talk. Put up the number 3 for me. 3 rounds of talk. All right, you can put your hand down. All this means is that we both want to talk 3 times. So I talk and then my friend talks. And I talk and my friend talks. And I talk and my friend talks. And we're done. So we talk back and forth multiple times so that we have a strong conversation. Now, when you're talking to your friend and you're trying to keep up with how many times you've talked, I have a neat little trick for you. Are you ready? You can put a finger up on your leg every time you say something so that you're counting how many times you've talked. Because if you get in the conversation and you start talking and you're learning a lot about each other, you may forget, have I talked 1 time or 2 times? Well, if we put our finger on our leg with a number up, we can count how many times we've talked so we remember. And once you get to that number 3, that's the magic number. It means that you've talked a good amount of time to have a strong conversation. So as we talk today, later on, you're going to get to practice using those fingers to help you count to make sure you've had 3 rounds of talk. So before we keep going down our chart, I want to give you a chance to practice explaining why you agree or disagree. But right now, we're not going to talk to anybody. We're just going to hold this in our head, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a prompt, okay? I'm going to give you something to think about. And you're going to think of one reason why you agree. How many reasons are you thinking of? One. Thank you. So I'm going to tell you something. You're going to think in your head a reason why you would agree. If you were having a conversation, you would say, I agree because. So you're thinking of that because, why you agree with what I'm saying, okay? So I'm going to tell you something. I just want you to think about it. Don't share anything out loud. All right, so our prompt is, reading is fun. There's lots of reasons why you may agree that reading is fun. I just want you to think of one reason. You may close your eyes. I like how that friend's doing that, closing her eyes to think of that one reason. And once you know one reason why you agree with me, I want to see a thumb up. Seeing some thumbs. I'm seeing some thinking. I love this. All right, thumbs down, eyes open. I love all those thumbs coming up. So there are many different reasons why you may agree with me. I love to read because I love when it's a rainy, cold day like it was earlier this week, how I can curl up on a couch with a book. Just a great activity for me to do when it's raining outside. I also love that there are many different types of books to read, so I never get bored reading a kind of book. So those were just a couple of reasons why you may agree that reading is fun, but there are a lot of different reasons you could think of. All right, so we're going to practice the same thing again, but this time we're going to practice with disagree. So if you disagree with something, then you don't like what that person said, you don't agree with them. So now I know that we all enjoy reading, so we're just going to pretend that we don't like reading. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that reading is fun, again, and you're going to think of a reason why you would disagree, why you don't think reading is fun. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to close your eyes, think, and give me a thumbs up when you're ready. So one reason why you disagree that reading is fun, why you don't think reading is fun. Seeing some heavy thinkers. Okay. Just a few more seconds why you don't think reading is fun. We're just going to pretend. Some of you are having a really hard time thinking of reasons why reading is not fun, and I love that. All right, thumbs down, eyes up here. So, some of you may say, I disagree that reading is fun because riding a bike outside is more fun to me. Or you may say, I disagree, reading is not fun because watching TV is better. Or some of you may think that it takes too long to read a book, so it just gets boring very quickly. Whatever your reason was, it's important that we explain why we agree or disagree so that the person you're talking to understands you better. All right, so now we're going to move down to our H on our chart. So the C stands for co-constructing meaning, very good, and our H stands for hearing. Say that with me. Hearing. So we can show that we're hearing or listening to people based on our gestures and what we call silent space. So gestures are the things that you do with your hands or your facial expressions to show that you're listening. So right now, I see that all of you are looking at me and your eyes are making contact with my eyes. You're making eye contact. So that shows me that you're listening. That's a gesture that shows that you're listening. You're also giving me silent space. You're not talking while I'm talking. You're giving me a chance to explain what I would like to explain to you. So silent space just means you're letting the other person talk. You're not interrupting them. And whenever they get done talking to take a breath of air, you don't just interrupt them. You're giving them the time to talk. So those are both ways to show that you're hearing the person who's speaking. So now that we've talked about the C and the H on our chart, I want to give you an example of what this looks like in a conversation. I want to show you what a strong conversation looks like using the C and the H. So in just a second, I'm going to have a friend come in, okay? And my friend and I are going to have a conversation, and your job is just to watch like you're doing so good right now. But there's a few things I want you to pay attention to as we talk, okay? Let me see your eyes. I want you to listen to how we agree and disagree, the ways that we co-construct meaning. I want you to pay close attention to what we say that shows that we agree, or the things that we say that show that we disagree, okay? I also want you to watch our gestures. What do we do with our hands, our facial expressions, our bodies to show that we're listening? Because after we get done talking, I'm going to ask you things that you notice. So I want y'all to be paying close attention. And the last thing I want y'all to do is to practice counting on your fingers how many times my friend and I talk. Okay, so you're going to just hold up a finger every time one of us says something. Okay? All right, so my friend Miss Spritko is going to come in, and we are going to show you what this looks like, okay? Now, like I said, I'm going to be asking you all the things that we just talked about. So you need to have something held in your head, some noticings that you can share with me. Got it? All right, so watch Miss Spritko and me.
Hey, Miss Colvin. I had some candy yesterday, and it was so good. Sour Patch Kids are the best candy in the entire world.
Oh my goodness. I love candy too. But I think I have to disagree with you. I don't think Sour Patch Kids are the best candy. I think M&Ms are the best candy. I love how the chocolate just melts in my mouth.
I agree with you, but I do really like M&Ms. But nothing beats the crunch of a Kit Kat bar.
Oof. I see your point there. That crunch is really nice. But I think something different. I don't like that Kit Kats leave chocolate all over my fingers. I want the chocolate to just be in my mouth. And when I eat Kit Kats, I feel like I'm going to get chocolate all over my clothes. So I don't think I agree that that's the best candy.
Yeah, that's right. I do always have to go wash my hands after I eat Kit Kats. That's why I like Sour Patch Kids. They're not messy.
Yeah, I see your point now, why you think that Sour Patch Kids are the best candy. And I have to agree with you now. They are the perfect mix between sweet and sour. All right. I love how I see your fingers up counting. Thank you so much, Miss Spritko, for helping me. All right, so we just had a nice conversation going back and forth. So before we get any further, I want you to hold up your fingers with how many times I talked. Okay, I'm seeing some 3s, I'm seeing some 4s. Okay, hands down. I know it can get kind of confusing because y'all are counting up for me and Miss Spritko. But we each talked 3 times. So we had 3 rounds of conversation to show that we had a good conversation going back and forth. All right. I need you sitting on your bottom, sitting up tall and straight. Okay, so now let's talk through our charts. Raise your hand if you heard Miss Spritko and I agree on something. Did you hear us agree? Okay, now I want you to think. I'm going to call on a few friends to ask me what we said that showed we agreed. So something that we said that told you, oh, they agree on that. Okay, and we're going to add it to our chart. So, all right, my friend right here, what is something that Miss Spritko or I said to show that we agree? Okay, we like Sour Patch Kids, but what did we say that told you she agreed? What words did I say, or did Miss Spritko say, that showed that we agree? Keep thinking, I'll come back to you.
They're sweet and they're sour.
Okay, Miss Spritko, can you come back for a second? I want to show y'all something, okay? I want you to pay close attention to what we say. All right.
Hey, Miss Colvin. I ate some candy after school yesterday, and it was delicious. Sour Patch Kids are the best candy in the entire world.
Ooh, I love candy too. Did you hear anything that said that I agree? What did you hear? I'm pointing, yeah, you. What did I say that told you I agree?
You like Sour Patch Kids too?
So I said the word too, right? That showed I also agree with that, okay? So I'm just gonna add on here. I'm gonna put in quotation marks because that shows that I said it. And I'm gonna write, I like that too. All right? Now, Ms. Spritko and I are gonna keep going. And I want you to keep listening. So I'm gonna say, I don't like that Kit Kats leave chocolate all over my fingers. I'm always scared I'm going to accidentally get chocolate on my clothes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I always have to go wash my hands after I eat Kit Kats.
Okay, what did you hear about that? What did you hear?
She has to wash her hands.
Okay. What did you hear that showed her what did you hear her say that showed she agreed?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. And she said, I agree because, and explained it, right? Okay, so I'm going to add that to our chart. And now I'm going to show you one more part of our conversation. Say your second, like your last thing.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because I always have to go wash my hands after eating Kit Kats. That is why I love Sour Patch Kids. They don't make a mess.
Oh, I see your point now, and I think the same thing as you. Let me see, call on something different, someone different. I love how all y'all want to participate.
You like Sour Patch Kids too because she forced you.
She didn't force me. She explained why she liked it, and it convinced me that I agree with her. What did I say that showed I agree with her? I said, I see your point now, and I think the same thing. Okay, good. So I can say, I see your point. And I can say, I think the same thing. Now, hands down, I want you to think for a minute while I finish writing this. Think about your conversations with your friends and with your family. Think about some things that you may tell them to show that you agree. Those key words, those examples that show that you agree. Think about how you tell someone that. All right, does anybody have an example of something they say to show that they agree? Anything different than what Miss Bridco and I said in our conversation? This is a new concept, a new idea for y'all that you're learning about. So here's something else you can think about. So you could say, yeah, that's right, right? We could say something like that, or yes, I agree. We could say, we have that, I agree because, I see your point, I think the same thing. Do you have something else?
Well, whenever my cousin tells me something, I say it's right.
Okay, yeah, like that. So you could say, yeah, that's right, to show that you agree with what they said. All right, so as I finish writing this, which y'all did an excellent job of pointing out what I said in my conversation, let's think about when Miss Bridco and I disagreed. Because did we agree every time we said something? No, and is it okay to disagree with somebody? It's okay to agree and disagree. What's important is the way that we communicate that, the way we explain that so that we don't hurt each other's feelings. So let's think about what Miss Bridco and I said when we disagreed. So kind of like we did with agree, what are some phrases or words that we said that told you, oh, they don't agree on that? Do I have any other friends you want to share? All right, Addie.
When she said she liked Sour Patch better, and you said that you liked M&M's better.
Okay, so I thought something different, right? So I said, very good. I said, I think something different. So up here I said, I think the same thing, but when I disagreed, I said, I think something different. So that told you that I was disagreeing. Okay. What's another thing that Miss Bridco or I said that showed that we disagreed? Thank you for hanging with me and wanting to participate. What's something else we said? Okay.
You disagreed on the Kit Kat because of chocolate.
Right. Exactly right. And I said, I disagree with you because. That's all I said. I just said, I disagree. But I explained it right, and that was what's most important, because it's always good to explain our thinking. Did I ever kind of agree, kind of disagree? Did you hear me say that? Okay, what did I say then to help you know that I was in the middle? What did I say? We were talking about Kit Kats, and we were talking about how I like the crunch, but the chocolate. And I said a certain phrase. Can you remember? Okay, what did I say?
You said, because I'm afraid it's going to get all over my clothes.
Right, so I said, I kind of agree with you because I like the crunch, but I think something different, right?
I think something different.
So I said, I kind of agree with you to show them in the middle. All right, now think of it when you have conversations with people. Do you have another example of how you can disagree kindly? What you can say to them to show that you kind of don't agree with them all the way? Did you have something, friend? You lost it? You don't have anything? Okay. What if up here, how I said, yeah, that's right? What could I say down here to show that I disagree? What would be the opposite of that? What could I say instead? Or I could say, I don't think that's right. I love that. So I'm going to say, I don't think that's right. Y'all are doing excellent coming up with these examples. Now, think about Miss Spridko and I and our gestures, okay? Think about what we were doing with our body, what we were doing with our hands, what we were doing with our facial expressions. What did we do that shows we were not listening, that shows we were listening? But before I keep moving on, I want every friend out here to show me that they're listening right now. So I need to see your eyes, and I need to see your body facing me, so I know that we're all listening. All right, so what were our gestures? How do you know that Miss Spridko and I were listening to each other? You. Oh, I'm going to get you next. I'm going to get her behind you first, okay? And I'm coming right back to you.
Your eyes.
What about our eyes?
They looked at each other.
Awesome. We call that eye contact. Say eye contact.
Eye contact.
That means our eyes are looking at each other. I wasn't looking way over here or way over here. I was looking at Miss Spridko in the eyes to show I was listening to her. Awesome. So eye contact is an example of a gesture that shows that you're listening. All right. Now you can tell me what you're going to say. That's what you'll have the same idea. So you agreed with her, right? Awesome. All right. What do you think?
That y'all were turned to each other.
I love it. That's called facing the speaker. It just means that we're turned towards whoever is talking. So think about if Miss Spridko and I were having a conversation and we were talking like this and we were not looking at each other. That would be hard to really listen to each other, wouldn't it? So when we talk, we want to face the speaker. That's why when you do turn-in talks, you face the person you're talking to. All right, so facing the speaker. Awesome. All right, do we have any other ideas of gestures that we did to show that we were listening? What do you think?
Y'all was sitting still, not moving around.
Oh, I love that. That's a great way to show that you're listening. Sitting still. Okay. Now think about when Miss Spridko and I agreed with each other. What did our head do to show that we agreed and were listening? What did it do? It nodded. Nodding shows that you're listening and that you're hearing what they're saying. Awesome. All right, can we think of anything else that we did to show that we were listening? What do you think? I love it. That's what we call our silent space. We were quiet and we were not interrupting each other, because you cannot talk effectively or have a good conversation when you're constantly trying to talk over each other. So you have to give each other that silent space and listen. So quiet. Awesome job. Now, when we had our conversation, did we look like this or did we look like this?
Smile.
We're smiling to show that we're listening and really engaged in that conversation. So smiling is another way to show that you're listening to somebody. All right. Now, I know y'all are getting tired of just listening to me talk. So are y'all ready to get to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, well before I let y'all do that, I have to explain my expectation and what this is gonna look like. So I need us all with our shoes on, sitting up tall and straight facing me. Okay, show me that gesture that you're paying attention to me and listening to what I have to say. All right. So you're gonna have the chance to have another conversation like what Miss Bridco and I did, but you're not gonna talk about candy. I'm gonna give you something else to talk about, okay? So in a second, not right now, I'm just gonna explain this to you. You're gonna have your turn and talk partners, okay? Like what you practiced earlier today. So you're gonna have that person that you talk with, okay? And here's how we're gonna do this. Row 1 and row 3. I want you to hold up the number 1. Okay, so row 1 and row number 3, to hold up the number 1. All right, you can put that down. Row 2 and row 4, I want you to hold up the number 2. We got it? All right, hands down. So my partners who were number 1, that just means you're gonna get to talk first in the conversation. So how in our conversation, Miss Bridco talked first. She was partner 1. Partner 2, you're gonna talk last. So it means you get to be the last one to say something in the conversation. That's what I was. So it doesn't matter if you're 1 or 2. That just kind of helps us know who talks first. For my group of 3, you are gonna be number 3 and y'all will just have a conversation the same way, okay? So you'll get to practice having a conversation with 3 people, all right? So here's how this is gonna work. I'm gonna give you a topic, okay? I need you all facing the front. We're not turned around just yet. I'm gonna give you a topic, okay? And your topic is gonna be what you think the best holiday is. So holidays are like Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day, Easter, okay? All these different holidays. You're gonna think in your brain what you think the best holiday is, okay? So I want everyone to think about what they think the best holiday is. You're not gonna share anything, you're not gonna shout it out, just get in your head what you think the best holiday is. Oh, I still need you facing the front. We're not ready to talk just yet. I love how you're so excited to talk though. All right, so thumb up when you know what what you think the best holiday is. You have lots of options to choose from. All right, hands down. So, when you get to talk with your partner, you're gonna do what Miss Bridco and I did, okay? You're going to, partner 1's gonna share what they think the best holiday is, and partner 2 is either going to agree or disagree based on what they said. So you know what you think the best holiday is. So if they say something that's not what you thought the best holiday is, then you automatically disagree. But you then explain why you disagree. So you use our examples to help you as you talk to explain why you agree or disagree. So we have, I like that too. I agree because, I see your point, I think the same thing, yeah, that's right. We have, I think something different. I disagree because, I kind of agree, I don't think that's right. So you can use those phrases that we came up with together to help guide your conversation, okay? And then we're also gonna make sure, friends, that we're following our gestures, making eye contact, facing the speaker, sitting still, nodding, being quiet and giving our partner that silent space, and smiling to show that we're truly listening and hearing what they have to say. So you're gonna practice how to have a good, strong conversation. All right, so I want you to turn knee to knee and eye to eye with your partner. We're not gonna start just yet. I wanna make sure everybody's got their partner. All right, so when I say talk, not just yet, when I say talk, partner 1 is going to start by saying, I think the best holiday is, and sharing what they think it is. And then partner 2 will begin responding. Now, one more thing. Let me see your eyes real fast. I want you counting on your leg how many times you're talking. What's the magic number? How many times you need to talk? Awesome, 3. So once you've talked 3 times and you have the number 3 up and your partner has the number 3 up, I need you to turn back to the front and sit there quietly to show me that you're ready to move on. Now, I know that y'all have turn and talks all the time, so I know y'all know the rules for this. But there's gonna be a lot of us talking at the same time, so we need to make sure that we're keeping our voices low in our turn and talk voices so that we do not disturb everybody else. All right, are you ready? All right, partner 1's gonna start talking first, so I should see rows 1 and 3 talking. All right, ready, set, talk.
He goes first.
What are we talking about?
What is your favorite holiday? Okay, so you say that. So then you say that. I think my favorite holiday is
I think my favorite holiday is
Okay, so you either agree with what she says or
Do
you
you agree
disagree.
or disagree?
Okay, so you use our phrases to show why you agree or disagree and explain that. So you either agree or disagree. So why do you kind of agree? What do you agree and disagree for?
It's a perfect holiday and you can make I like Christmas. Favorite holiday would be
Alright, what holidays are your favorites? Were they both your favorite? Okay, so
I disagree.
did y'all agree?
So what did you decide? What are your favorite holidays?
I never wear clothes.
What was your favorite part of Christmas?
Okay, so why do you think Christmas is your favorite holiday?
Okay, and what was your favorite part?
Okay, and why did you say Easter is the best holiday?
Easter bunny.
I love that you guys are
Kind of agree.
why you think.
I kind of agree that you get to hang out with your family, but I disagree that I like to do this instead. I'm seeing
Also,
some
three
friends
things. I
turning
think
to
this
the
call is about
front
to wrap
so that
up
they
then, so
finish
you're
their
perfect.
conversation.
We were the first grade test.
And as you finish, you're just going to turn back here once you've finished your conversation. All right, let me see your eyes on me and your body facing the speaker. Let me see you sitting tall and straight. Now, I am so impressed, friends, with what I just saw. As I walked around, I saw eye contact. I saw you facing the speaker. I saw some friends counting how many times they spoke, which shows they were keeping track of how many rounds of talk they had. I heard people say, I agree, because they were explaining that, because we learned that it's important to explain what you're thinking so that your partner can understand you better. But as I walked around, I also saw some friends who were kind of wiggly and moving around, which was not sitting still to show that you were listening. And I heard some friends just say, I agree with you. And we had to talk about how you have to explain why, because we know it's important that our partner understands that. So you're learning, and you were already doing so well with the rules of our chat chart. So as you keep practicing our chat chart, you're going to become even better speakers and chatters with each other. And eventually, you ready for this? Eventually we'll get to learn what the A and the T mean, which will help us even more with those strong conversations. So in a second, I'm going to hang up our chat chart on our wall so that y'all can always see that as you're practicing talking with one another during your turn and talks in class. So friends, now when you're on the playground talking to friends, or when you're in the lunchroom talking to friends, or at home talking to your family, you can think back to our chat chart and what we talked about today to help you have those strong conversations with those people. So to finish out our lesson, I want you to turn back to your partner and say, thanks for chatting with me. So sweet. You can turn back to me. Very good, friends. You did a great job. All right. Is Miss Broussard in here? Yes, we are good.